Hi there. Welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time, after spending an embarrassingly long amount of time basically grasping at straws, we finished the first part of the dance of deduction, and now it's time to finish the second part and see where it goes from there. To be honest, I'm still kind of salty about the fucking the fact it took me I don't know, 10 minutes? Way too long to discover that you can actually examine things in the middle of a dance deduction, but I already talked about that last time, so let's do it as Sholm says. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life? And why? According to the data of which I have been apprised, it would appear there were no visible signs of injury. Yeah, okay, well, we have read this before, but, that was last episode. Doesn't hurt to refamiliarize yourself with the situation. Oh, yeah. This part doesn't quite make sense. If we consider what the actual cause of death was. What Mr. Sholmes says is true. There were no signs of a wound anywhere on Kazuma-sama's body. That's right. But Mr. Sholmes seems to be unaware of one very important detail. Kazuma wasn't poisoned. Yes, it would seem so. Let's give him the information he's missing now. Well, that should be the post-mortem report. Let me just read that again. I'm not sure if I actually examined it all the way. Let's see, somewhere between 1 a.m. and a little past 2 a.m. Not super exact, but okay. Damage to the cervical vertebrae. Instant death, huh? Instant death, huh? Either way, yeah, there's no poison, so this must be the correct answer. So, let me just take a double look at this. That is a cute kitty, by the way. Big mouth. So yeah. Also, I thought that was something else, but I guess not. Anyway, yes! Postmortem report, go. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report. Ah, yes. I knew it was one or the other. His neck was... Indeed. The breaking of the cervical vertebrae is fatal. Only that Goliath would be strong enough to survive that. In some cases. You can break... I guess you have a lot of vertebrae, so I know there are instances where people have broken their necks and they didn't die, but, Seaman Stroganoff isn't some immortal freak, The jury is out. Anyway, we have on good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if we take that as fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. Oh no! Could there be... Yeah, let's look at the dead guy again. Yes, an examination of the... Well, yeah, you know the line. Kazuma died because his neck was broken. In other words, he was probably struck by something, or someone. But wouldn't that leave an injury? I think I mentioned this before, but if he was hit by something really hard, wouldn't there be a bruising around his neck? But they said there was no obvious signs of injury, so I'm still curious about that one. Yes, that's a distinct possibility. As of yet, no weapon has been found, though. Presumably dark evidence. Doc didn't silently creep up behind Kazuma and deal him a fatal blow. Man, imagine that, a fucking assassin cat. I suppose it's possible that he had a fall and hit the ground awkwardly. I guess he didn't hit the ground running. And it don't stop coming, and it don't stop coming, you know what I mean? It could have been a terrible act of misfortune that he broke his neck completely by accident. Are you sure? Like, I feel like you'd have to fucking fall in a really weird way to completely break your neck and die. Like, how often does that happen in the span of history? I mean, in situations where it wasn't like a great fall, obviously. Like, I don't see how someone could just fall in their like cabin room and just break their neck. But I don't know. Oh yes, a bad fall could explain it. It's rather hard to believe of Kazuma-sama, though. He wasn't a clumsy man. Well, we need to fix this deduction somehow. Is there anything from this scene that could explain what happened? What happened? Probably the mark on the floor, because if that's a scuff mark that was made by his shoe, that would imply that he, like, slipped and fell, you know, or that's where he slipped and fell. So, yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yes!
Bada bing. Yes, an examination of the mark on the floor will prove the cause of death conclusively. This particular mark, so prominently visible next to the victim's body, is a deposit of shoe polish. Shoe polish? Indeed. Positively identified by a little analysis device I constructed, which I carry now as a matter of course. Beeswax, tallow, and dye were my results. The undeniable ingredients of shoe polish. This music is still pretty good. Oh, I like the transition. And the color of the polish is a perfect match to the color of Mr. Asagi's laced leather shoes. Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. For some reason, Mr. Asagi must have caught his foot at that point on the floor and tripped. Please, no. And, by a dreadful turn of misfortune, caught his neck against some immovable object as he fell to the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebrae shattered, and in that instant, he lost his life. I thought it was his neck. I mean, I know your spine and your... I mean, your spine goes up to your neck, obviously, but, like, still, you know? No! Hey, it's okay. I don't know. I don't know anything about this. Is that really true, Miss Pavlova? What about the evidence left at the scene when Mr. Asagi lost his life? Yes, the facts are as clear as day to me. You did all you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right. You hid the evidence that links you to the... Wait, who opened the... Okay. How did the traveling case get open, anyway? I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama merely tripped over and now he's no more. That's really anticlimactic and a bad way to go out. Seriously. I've tripped before. I've stubbed my toe. I've fallen over, you know, at least a couple times in my life, but... unless you're doing like a backflip and you fell and landed on your neck, like I don't see how you could just fall from like a stationary, you know, in your room, unless you, again, I don't know. I would like to know exactly how and where and why he tripped, because That's pretty dumb. It can't be true! I refuse to accept it. I know it's hard to believe, but the mark on the floor does seem to suggest that's what happened. But... And this part of Mr. Sholmes' deduction is right. Miss Pavlova is trying to hide some evidence that would prove it. Miss Pavlova wasn't even in his cabin, though. How did she know what happened to him? Well, I guess we're gonna find out at some point, but still. Where, I wonder? Let's have a good look around. The answer must be here somewhere. Yeah, I mean, it must be. Okay, well, I guess it's not the, traveling case. Let's see. Now remember, me, you can't examine things further, so let's see. This is where Miss Pavlova hid her friend. That's right, and it wasn't a snake after all. No, it was that little kitten she calls Darker. Not that it's anywhere to be seen now. Yeah, cats can be like that. They like to roam in Tawanda, that's for sure. I expect it's wrapped itself around someone's head somewhere, trying to make a new friend. Either that, or it's scratching their head to pieces. The point is, where did it got to? Good question, I wonder. Let's examine the tiara in closer detail. Ah! Someone appears to have dropped 20,000 rubles here. It hasn't been dropped, Naruhodo-san. It's been placed. Yeah, I mean, Sholmes was wearing it earlier, so he probably set it down. I'm starting to sound like Mr. Sholmes. Stop trying to sound like the great detective, goddammit. Okay, fine, Jesus. I just wanted to sound cool. Like, you know, like a cool guy. Yeah, let's check the waste paper basket. This is a waste paper basket. Perhaps all the first-class cabins have them. But Miss Pavlova only started occupying this cabin late last night. Presumably, there's not much rubbish in there yet. Oh wait, there's a lot of rubbish. I mean, a decent amount of rubbish anyway. Oh, what's that? It's a broken piece of glass, isn't it? Yes, it is. And I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. If it looks familiar, perhaps it's more than your mind simply playing tricks on you. Yeah, obviously. It's not the ghetto boys up in this bitch. Oh, I can't just... Okay, well, okay. This better work. It's gotta be the paper basket, right? Yes, presumably. That's right! You hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that waste paper basket. Ah! Here we have a fragment of some intricate glass object, it would seem. One that has a familiar air, in fact. Precisely. We found another piece of broken glass on the floor in Mr. Usagi's cabin. And, as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly. Now what's that a bell for, I wonder? Oh no. So, So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that part of this glass object, which was evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death, should be found in the waste paper basket in your cabin? I mean, yeah, that kind of incriminates you more if, like, the fact that you hid it, in your cabin. I mean, yeah, it kind of makes you look more guilty when you think about it. Like, the smart thing to do would have been to, like, I don't know, throw it overboard, you know? Like, she was away to go talk to the captain earlier. Couldn't she have, you know, disposed of it then? Ah, Kia, dude. You're well acquainted with this glass bell, are you not? I don't know. That hushing Russian accent of yours won't save you this time, dear girl. And why? Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question. What? Take it away, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, you want me to fill this one out? Yeah, about that. The evidence linking Miss Pavlova and the little glass bell, well, that would be, Wait. Let me double check that. That's his bell. Or Darka, I think it's a girl actually, but that's the cat's bell, is it not?
Yes!
Yeah, that's gotta be it. Fuck him up, Hirinosuke. Fuck him up. If you look at this photograph, every time it always makes me laugh. What the hell was on Jimmy's head? You know that tune. If you look at this photograph, you can clearly see, hanging from Darka's collar is the very glass bell in question. I mean, it's black and white, so if this were like in court, the prosecution would be like, you can't verify that that's a pink bell. For all we know, the bell in that photograph might be orange. Can you prove it? But thankfully, we're not actually in court, so we can kind of get away with that. The truth has caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. The young man who lost his life last night did so after a truly inauspicious fall. And the cause of that fateful stumble your absent feline friend, Darka. I imagine them that they were both talking. Ah. I couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry. Death by tripping over a cat. Wow. That's what a way to go out, my dude. Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night. Is that it? Is that like... Are there any more further twists? Any more turns? Because, what about the message that he left? It was a little after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I hadn't had time to feed Darka, so I gave her some food. And then, all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped out of my hands. Yeah, I guess, again, my Russian accent is not the best. Especially a Russian feminine accent. People do say that cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments. Bro, I can speak from personal experience on that one, my guy. She was so fast. She disappeared through the ventilator before I could stop her. And that is how you acquired the rather nasty wound on the back of your hand, I take it. Yes. And I had read the, rules on the wall. I knew that I was not allowed Darka with me. Yes. Modern science suggests that animals can carry infectious diseases. It's a precaution, really. So I listened and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure if someone was there, he must be sleeping. So at that point, you thought it safe to try to lure the kitten back again. By dangling the end of the toy through the ventilator and into the adjoining cabin. How'd you get up there, though? Like, there's no... Like, you're pretty short, from what I can tell. Like, unless you, like, what, you, like, moved a chair up there and you're, like, up to the ventilator? Because it was pretty high up there, so... And how, like, how... What's the length of the ventilator itself? Like, I know it leads directly into the other cabin, so it's probably not that long, but... Still, like, you'd have to stretch your arm out pretty far with the cat toy. Just for the cat to even have a chance of seeing it, you know? I don't know. Darka always loves this toy. But it didn't work. Nothing worked. I tried using her favorite toy. I tried whistling to her softly. But nothing. She didn't return. So the faint whistling sound Cosmo wrote about in his diary was Miss Pavlova trying to retrieve her pet. Cats have a propensity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened. Yeah, that's also something I can say with personal experience. Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to wait until she had calmed down. But then... Huh. I nearly passed out with shock. I heard her cry out, and then... Oh, it was such a dreadful bang. Then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent. Cosimo was... From the appearance of the brown mark on the floor, it seems likely that what you heard was the victim stepping on the glass bell and tripping up. The SS Piora is a large vessel, but even she can pitch and roll violently without warning. If Mr. Asagi was already off balance as a result of the ship lurching when the kitten got under his feet, the combination of unfortunate factors could easily have caused him to fall over. I mean, I guess. But what became of the kitten afterwards? Yeah, is he okay? Or is she okay? Because, like, if did like... Are there two dead bodies we gotta be looking for? You know? In the end, I managed to get her... Oh, okay, so the cat's fine. Cosima... Okay, we can take or leave Cosima, but the cat's okay, so... As far as I'm concerned, that's, case closed, am I right? In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator. Yet, Darka is nowhere to be seen. I must have forgotten to lock my case. And now she's disappeared again. Gracious, that cat is as insufferably restless as I am. Well, he knows something about himself at least. Ugh. When I woke this morning, I heard that a young man in the cabin next to mine had died. But I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened. I was too scared. Scared that they would send me back. Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake? Well, yeah, what did the snake have to do with anything? Where'd he come from? Where is he? Why is he here? What's that about? You're right. Where is it? If the snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova, then whose is it? And where did it come from? Oh. What on earth is such a dangerous creature doing on board this ship? Are you gonna be okay, Stroganoff? Oh, I didn't say. Snake is my friend. His name is Pirosco. Pirosco. That's a good snake name. What? Oh, what? Nani the fuck? That snake belongs to you? He escaped from the cage when a emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him. I did not expect to find him in here. Yes, how did that snake get into this cabin? But animals are not permitted on board. You should know that more than anyone, crewman Stroganoff, my guy. Ha! We are at sea for 1 year. You want to be so long without a close friend? Without someone who understands? I mean, that's relatable, but still kind of hypocritical, you know? Couldn't you find someone a little more, human? Who understands you better? But my dear burly fellow, a gargantuan venomous snake? Surely you can appreciate the danger you're putting everyone in. No venom. Pirosco does not have venom. He is harmless, very long, but very gentle. He is adorable, like Granny. Okay, pal. Whatever you say. It's, venomless. Yes, sorry. Yes. Yes. Now he is hungry, so he is in bad mood. But once I feed him, you will see big smile. And, you feed him what? Milk, I suppose? Like they say they milk chickens. Ridiculous. Snakes that drink milk are only in stupid stories. Pirosco eats mouses. Big, fat, round mouses. Also, let me just double check that line. Snakes that drink milk are only in stupid stories. If I recall, I think I remember reading somewhere that's kind of a slight jab at one of the Arthur Conan Doyle stories, the Sherlock stories, because I think the snake was like the culprit in one of those ones, and you know, because it was written in the fucking late 1800s and snake facts were not widely known, Conan Doyle incorrectly claimed that the snake was being fed milk, even in fact they don't drink milk. So yeah, that's a little subtle jab. Nice reference. Is that what the mousetrap in the passageway out there is for? Oh hey, I was wondering about that. Of course! How else can I catch my friend's favorite food? Nothing says top of the food chain like the look in their eyes right now. What? Dude, Sholmes, where did your eyes go, my guy? You good? It refuses to drink milk, it can't hear a whistle, it can't climb up a bell cord, and it's not even venomous! How the deuce did something so inept land a starring role? It's not my fault. I do not make up stories. My Pirosco has nothing to do with this incident. So that's what happened. That's the truth behind my best friend's tragic death. He fucking stepped on a cat, fell over, and died. Wow. You really fucking... Come on, man. You're fucking, like, you got a katana. You should, like, go out swinging. You know, in a blaze of glory, not in a fucking cat death. At least the cat's okay, though. The cat's fine. That's the important thing here. Uh... Are we all just sitting around in stunned silence now? Miss Pavlova. I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in, and I do sympathize. But please remember this. A young man lost his life. If you're going to attempt to cover up your guilt with lies, then no matter what the circumstances, I cannot forgive you. But what are you talking about, Miss Makotaba? What lies? Miss Pavlova just confessed everything. It was just a series of unfortunate events. An accident. Yeah? Was that everything? I'm no great detective like Mr. Sholmes. I don't have a gift for knowing the truth. But even I can see that was not the truth. Wait, so he didn't fall? He didn't trip on a cat and die? Don't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? To be perfectly honest, yes. There's a discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story. I'm sure of it. I just can't quite put my finger on it. Damn, I thought we were wrapping things up. But apparently there's another fucking... There's more meat on the bone, as it were. I confess, I was intending to let Scotland Yard deal with any outstanding issues on this matter. Oh! I am only present here for a very specific reason. The truth is, you, Mr. Naruhodo, are simply a distraction. A distraction? I do hope you've not been finding your shackles too uncomfortable. Oh, they're back. Ah, not again! When did he do that? Especially as they're on your wrist as a result of my intervention. I was rather hoping I could resolve matters before we made our next port call. You were Mr. Sholmes? Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. Deceased young man was a very close companion of yours. Was he not? Yes. Kazuma was my closest friend. I owed him my freedom, even. In that case, we must follow this to its conclusion. No further distractions. You must uncover the real truth here, Mr. Naruhodo. Yeah, man, whatever that may be. The key to this is the discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure. If I can chase that down, maybe the truth will become clear. The truth about how you really died. About how that scene in your cabin really came to be. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo. So then, shall we begin? Yes. What we should ponder first is a victim who lost his life at a cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. Was this truly an unfortunate accident? Or was it in fact no accident at all? That is what we must establish in the first instance. But we've already established it, haven't we? The man tripped over the kitten that had climbed into his cabin by the ventilator. Tragic, yes, but still an accident.
Hold it!
Hold it, pal! Wait, let's just take a step back. It doesn't make sense if that's really what happened, doesn't it? But aren't we the ones who came to this conclusion? We did the fucking dance of deduction and everything. I don't even know what road we're going down. I feel like the fucking judge now, where I'm just like, where are you guys taking this? I'm going to have to ask you to spell it out for me, I'm afraid. Yes, it's starting to take shape now. There's a clear contradiction between the facts and Miss Pavlova's story here. The evidence is right there in Cosmo's cabin. It's undeniable. His death couldn't possibly have been a mere accident. Really? Let us show our hand, Mr. Naruto. Time to present the evidence. The evidence that proves unequivocally that the victim's death was no mere accident. Let's see. Well, one thing I was curious about was this. I mean, like, what's that about, you know?
Yes!
So, let's try this one out. The truth is clearly recorded in this photographic print. There's no way that Mr. Asagi could have left this message on the floor. See, you know how we knew the message was going to come into play at some point, right? We all knew. If you've played an Ace Attorney game and there's a message written in some kind of ink or blood, it's not going to end up being what it looks like. That's script. It's Russian, isn't it? Indeed it is. The word written means wardrobe. I see what you mean. Most people would leave a dying message in their native language. Japanese in this case. But maybe he was studying Russian. It is a simple language. He could have picked it up very fast. Okay, I'm not a Russian expert, but I feel like that's not true. Like maybe in the grand picture of things, compared to other languages, it's like middle of the road. But I mean, there's a whole new alphabet. There's because there's the Japanese script, the katakana, and the that alphabet, and then Russian has like the Cyrillic alphabet. That's like it's two different languages. You don't just casually pick up Russian, That don't seem likely, lady. It's actually not the point. It makes no difference whether he knew Russian or not. Sorry, what do you mean, exactly? Exactly what I said before. There's no way that Mr. Asogi could have left this message on the floor. Could have, because he died instantly. Like, yeah, also that. He broke his neck instantly, so he couldn't have written the message. Like in fucking Turnabout, the one where Phoenix gets amnesia. You know that one. Damage to the circular vertebrae, resulting in instant death. Instant death. Ah! Oh, you wouldn't say he had that high of a pitch, but shock and surprise. Which means, after the victim fell to the floor, he couldn't have possibly written anything. Also, how did he fall? Okay, again, he's down forward, right? So like, how do you break your neck by falling on your face? I feel like that's not how that works. Like, you have to fall on a really weird angle, Because he was already dead. Gah. That's not the only reason either. There's something else we found in Mr. Asaki's cabin. A remnant of something that couldn't possibly have been there if what Miss Pavlova told us was true. What? So, Cesaro-san has noticed it too then. Putting this message on the floor aside, there's something else that gives the truth away. Another piece of evidence that proves this was no accident. In other words, after would it be this? Because it's related to the wardrobe, right? Because the word wrote wardrobe in purple ink. That was the seal that was been over my thing, where I was, Inosuke was sleeping. Maybe?
Yes!
I'm gonna throw it out there. What point are you trying to make with that evidence? I'm starting to see how Cosmo's death really happened, I think. Oh. I think that you were starting to see nothing of the sort. And that was the evidence to prove it. Ugh. Okay, so it wasn't that. It was no accident, then what we should be looking for is one of two things. Either the absence of something you would expect to find at the scene of an accident, or the presence of something you wouldn't. Most stupendously put, my dear madam. Ah, I see. I confess you're rather languid, I see. Doesn't fill me with confidence, Mr. Naruhodo. Don't worry, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe in you. Well, more than Mr. Sholmes does, anyway. Gee, thanks for the reassurance. Okay, so it's not the seal. I thought because, you know, wardrobe seal that says keep out, but you couldn't read it because she doesn't know Japanese. But I guess it doesn't prove anything to do with it being an accident, I suppose. Okay, so that's accounted for. I mean, this is just the newspaper article. The mark... Okay, I'm not really sure. Exactly. Okay, let me look at the photo again. Am I missing something here? Okay, so that's Kazuma. Got his little headband on. He looks, you know, dead. But they said putting the message aside, so I don't think it has anything to do with the message specifically. That he probably couldn't have wrote anyway. Ooh. Okay, I'm just gonna throw this out there because I don't think I presented it at all yet. So
Yes.
maybe that's it. What? Oh, come on, man! This is the second case of the game, and I'm having this kind of trouble with it. Yeah. We know. Okay, well. Okay, first off, maybe I should just have a save file ready just to be safe. You know what I'm saying? In case something, you know, in case it managed to what's the word? Bungle. Yeah, in case I managed to bungle this up. Okay, so it's not the seal. I don't think it could be this. That's a fucking it's revolutionary. Like, who gives a shit about that? That's basically just a red herring. The diary. That's already accounted for, because the whistling sound and then the speckled band. Is it not? Okay, I'm trying to fucking put my, like, two brain cells, rubbing them real close together, you know what I mean? Because it's not immediately obvious to me what I am to present. Because we've accounted for the scuff and the bell belonging to the kitty, Darka. Yeah, tiara. Yada yada. Okay, I mean, at this point I'm just throwing shit out there. So, diary of a wimpy kid? Motherfucker. Okay, so it's not the article. I only have so many pieces of evidence that it can be, right? Like, realistically. If it was an accident, they're saying something about, you would think if it was an accident, there's something missing that should be there, or something that's there that shows it's not an accident. Is it already to present the photograph again?
Yes.
Is that? Oh god. Okay, I heard people say that this game was relatively easy. You know, at least the first one, first Great Ace Attorney. But so far, for to be the second case, it's not exactly living up to that reputation.
Yes.
Did I represent that? I don't know, man. Okay, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna fucking rewind, if you don't mind. So it's not the ship log, it's not the mark on the floor, it's not the postmortem report. I mean, why would she why would she intentionally murder him in the first place? Because, like, they don't even know each other. Like, there's no motive. So, like, not that, not this, not that. The mark on the floor?
Yes.
It's gotta be one of these goddamn things. Okay, finally, Jesus. This piece of broken glass next to the mark on the floor. What's special about the what? But that's a glass bell the kitten had around its neck. We already know all about that. It was broken in half when the victim tripped over the cat and fell. Tripped over the cat and fell. Yeah, that was the conclusion that we arrived at. So you already have a satisfactory explanation. Where's the flaw in that logic? Unfortunately, there is a very big flaw. A fatal flaw. What? If that's really what happened, then how did one half of the bell Oh yeah! Duh! Look at me, big stupid guy. The fact that she tried to cover it up, the fact that she hid it in her cabin, that would imply that, like, well, I mean, you would think that, yeah, like she simply tried to cover it up, you know. If it was just an accident and she didn't do anything after that, then both sides of the bell should have been there, you know. Ah. Yes, remember that we found the other half of the glass bell in that waste paper basket. Would you care to explain that, Miss Pavlova? Oh no. Both these pieces of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. That when Mr. Asogi died last night in his cabin, there was someone else in the room. Yeah, because, like, if she was on the other side of the room, she would have been able to see the bell, right? So, like, yeah, she had to have been in the room. And that same person deliberately arranged the scene to disguise the truth, in order to cover up his or her own guilt. Kya! Yes, there was someone else present, Mr. Asogi's. Jesus, what holdup was that? Who was it? You were wasting time. Someone else was there. Duh, of course. We know this. Wow, you of all people got a spoken voice clip? What are you talking about? Bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. There was no way in or out. Oh, yes. And only other person in cabin when young student died was you.
Yes.
Yeah, that was me. I murdered him. Sorry. It's true. I was in the cabin when it happened. Yeah, to quote Hamilton, I was, in fact, in the room where it happened. You were shut inside the cabin wardrobe, to be precise about the details. But I don't know Russian. There's no way I would have left that message. Not would have. There's no way you could have left that message. To be precise about the details. Would you mind? Forgive me, my dear fellow. As I was saying, the person in question wrote the word wardrobe in Russian on the floor. In an attempt to incriminate me for the crime, even though I had been asleep in there the entire time. Also, yeah, how did you not hear him falling and breaking his neck anyway? My dude, you were in the room. Like, you must be a deep sleeper. And then, the same person picked up the broken glass bell that had fallen to the floor, for fear of it becoming evidence that would show how Mr. Asagi really died. Also, why did she not grab both parts of the bell? Like, if she just taken both parts of the bell and thrown them overboard, like, there wouldn't be anything even, like, incriminating her. But, bro, Hosonaga, you got me. But why wouldn't this person have taken all the pieces of the bell away? Leaving a half behind was always going to raise questions, exactly. Yes, well, it was past 1 o'clock in the early hours of the morning. The cabin would have been quite dark. Yeah, it's not like he had his torchlight on. Or I guess he did. The single small lamp suspended from the ceiling would barely have cast any light onto the floor there. Little wonder then that the culprit failed to notice a fragment of the tiny item. You all suspect me, don't you? Hold it! Yeah, what? Jeez, that's a loud voice. Seaman Stroganoff? Nina is woman of sea. She is daughter of strong sailor. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skills, and she went away to join ballet company. But before, she was dancer on this ship, a member of ship's band. Oh hey, that's interesting lore. You do not accuse ship's angel of being a criminal. Ah, so that's it. You say that when young student died, Nina was there in his cabin. But it is not possible. I give my tooth. Well, this is all most interesting. And why would you give your tooth, pray? How can you be so sure? You are a great detective. You should know. Look truth in eyes. Cabin bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. Nobody could go into cabin, not Nina, not anyone. Or you want to tell me that killer can walk through locked doors? Yet, it's impossible. He's right. But wait, I've read about this in detective stories. People often tie thread around door latches so they can open and close them from the outside. Thread? Are you stupid? Stupid Japanese. I was gonna say stupid American, but we're not American. These bulkheads are not barn door. Certainly not. Certainly not. These are watertight doors, as one would expect to find on any modern steamship. Constructed of heavy steel without a gap in sight. No threads or needles or magnets could have been used. No, of course not. I thought so too. Mr. Naruhodo suggested it earlier, so hey, don't fucking throw the blame on me for your bad deduction. Susato-san, how could you shift it onto me like that? Yeah, that's not a bro moment. So Seaman Stroganoff has a valid point. The cabin door couldn't have been bolted shut from the outside. Not necessarily. What? I put it to you that I could bolt this cabin door without laying a finger on it. Gah. And in this very cabin, we can see the traces of the method I have in mind having been used before. I don't believe it. Man, I wish I had been a little quicker on the uptake with the bell, because the recording is getting a little long. I wanted to stop it at like a good point, not in like the middle of the spicy drama, but I might have to. Let's see. Well, Mr. Naruhodo, I believe you know what I mean, don't you? A way to shut the bolt of the cabin door from the outside. One way does spring to mind, yes? Do you really know what Mr. Sholmes means, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, Yes, and so should you. Because we've seen it happen. Indeed we have. So would you care to do the honors, Mr. Naruhodo? Point out the telling signs of the method that was used to slide the cabin door bolt across from the outside. Okay, well, hey, that's as that's as good a point as any, right? Again, I don't really want to. I wish I could go long, but I mean, this recording's already getting pretty long, so I guess we're gonna have to figure out the rest of this mystery next time because, like, frankly, I kind of thought that we were out at the end of it, but there's like a whole other layer, man. This shit's pretty wild, yo. But anyway, until next time.